Here, this is what we're going to make today. Hamburger, french fries, and we're not making it, but there's lemonade right here too. So here's our hamburger. Start off with some ecru clay. Roll it out into a size number 1 on your pasta machine, so a nice thick one. Then you're going to cut out one circle of the bottom of your hamburger bun. That's going to be 1 layer thick, and then fold it in half so that you have 2 layers thick. For the top one, cut out one of those, so you have one top and one bottom, and the top is twice as big. Now you're going to want to probably lay your hand down and put the one that's twice as thick down there and kind of rub it around, roll it around so that way it smooths the edges, and then you can use your fingers on top because the top is supposed to be rounded. And the bottom, you don't really have to do much of anything. Maybe you can roll it on the edge to smooth up anything, but you really don't have to do much for that. So you have your top and your bottom. Now for the meat, you just take a piece of brown and you take it the same size as your hamburger bun, and you roll it out on pasta machine number 1, so kind of thick, same size. You have that, and then you use peppercorns from your kitchen, like whole peppercorns or anything to texture it. This is what I'm using. I find that I really like the peppercorns. This is a little peppercorn. I just put it right on top of the meat and roll it around, and it gives it just really, really good texture for meat. And then don't forget to do the edges. And while you're doing the edges, it kind of pulls down the top so it looks more rounded and less cut out. Take your bottom of your hamburger, put your meat on, and for your lettuce you take some green and white clay and you mix it together, but don't mix it together too well. Then I have one of my shapers. It's just, you can use really anything. It doesn't have to be any particular shape, but this is scrap clay that I put into tin foil on one side so that way it gives me texture. And I'm taking on the...
I accidentally lit the math.
Oh, you can fix it. It's okay. It's no big deal. Take the end of the lettuce, the little piece of lettuce, just kind of make a circle, and then you pull out... You just pull out the edges to make it, like on half of it, to make it look like it has ruffled edges. And I like the little hole in it here. I accidentally got a hole, and that's just fine because then it looks even more real. And then so you have your lettuce on top of there. Then I rolled out some red clay for the tomatoes, and I have a teeny tiny little cutter here, and then of course it's going to stick in there, so I use the end of a paintbrush to just pull it out. Anyway, you get your tomatoes on. So anyway, this paint is, I would cook this, well, don't cook it yet. You're going to want to do texture. Texture, use a blunt tip point. I put like an embroidery needle and some old clay and baked it so I have a nice little handle. And to bake that, all I do is I shape it to my fingers exactly how I'm going to hold it, and then I put it in the oven and bake it, so it's always the same shape. And it's very comfortable to hold. And put a million little dots all over the top of the hamburger bun, and that'll make it look like little seeds. See how thrilling that was? So you can bake these at this point, and then when you pull them out of the, well, if you're not going to cut it, you would bake it now. If you're going to slice it in half like this one, then you're going to want to wait. You can use either this paint for your little dab of ketchup. There's ketchup. And we have the same kind of paint. It's just three-dimensional fabric paint. Here's your mustard.
That is not mustard.
Not real mustard. No, I wouldn't want to eat it. And then you can put your bread on if you're going to put it on top. If you're going to slice it in half, The way to get the texture on the meat and the bread is, again, with one of the peppercorns. You take the peppercorn and the side of your bread, and careful not to squish off your texture you already put on top. And you just roll the peppercorn on there. And you roll it on the meat too if you slice the meat in half, the meat and the bread, and as you can see, that's in there. And to color it, you're going to want your colored chalks. And I like to start out with a dark yellow. I use two different colors, dark yellow and brown. You put the dark yellow on there and put lots of it on there because it makes it look good, and it's actually not very dark, so go ahead and cover that little puppy. So anywhere where you'll see it, you'll want to
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You'll want to get it there. There's the texture. Oh, let's see if I can show you this texture up close. You see that? Now you have a nice toasted bun. And had you not cut it in half, you put it on there. If you do want it on there, go ahead and do like that. My lettuce is sticking out the back a lot. That's okay. Anyway, you can pull it open.
Mom, can we get this in the pasta machine again?
Yeah, in just a minute. You can use your little peppercorn, get that texture in there.
What peppercorn?
This one. And don't forget to use your chalks, the dark yellow and the brown. And now you have your little hamburger. And we'll do French fries too. French fries are super simple. Alright, for the French fries, all you do, I use some pearl clay and I flatten it out on a size 4 in the pasta machine. Yeah, I'll squish it. Let me see. So here's your slice. It's on size 4 of the pasta machine, and you take your razor blade and you cut long strips of your French fry and make sure they're really tiny. And then when you go to cut these, you cut them different lengths. Some of them are going to be short. Most of them are going to be about the same size. So cut most of them the same size, and then a couple are going to be long.
5, 6, 7.
And then you have your nice little pile of French fries. Then, after you have a pile of French fries here,
1, 2,
like this pile right here,
5, 6,
you
7,
take
8,
your
9,
dark yellow clay and you start brushing them all over. And then you can use a tiny bit of brown, but don't use too much of the brown because it'll get too dark.
3, 4, 5.
Go with more yellow on the French fries and more toasted brown on the buns. And then you just stick your French fries in a pile, and to keep them from then you would bake your hamburger and your French fries for sure. You'd totally bake them. Then, after you were done with that, if you wanted them to shine, to glaze, to glue them on and to make them shiny, you could use triple thick crystal clear glaze, Krylon from Krylon, excellent stuff. Or you could use the matte gallery glass because it air dries, and that'll also act as a glue. Oh, that's all there is to making some hamburgers and a hamburger and a French fry.